It's been a while since I've done a video. Doesn't mean I haven't been that active. I haven't been out in the woods very much, but I've been doing some stuff with my gear and some crafting projects, and getting things changed over to going from winter and into spring and then summer. I've been going through my kit items and picking things out and adding things for the new seasons. And it got me to thinking about the gear that is kind of my mainstay stuff. So I went ahead, since I have it out because I've been doing some leatherworking projects, I want to go ahead and start a short series on my favorite or my go-to bushcraft kit items. And I'm going to start with the Victorinox Swiss Army Tinker. I love Swiss Army knives in general, but particularly this model. Currently I have 3 Victorinox Swiss Army knives. I have the Tinker, the Super Tinker, and I have one of the big ones with a longer blade that locks. For most cases though, this is my go-to. This particular one is about, I want to say 5 years old. And I get the most use out of this. I had another one that I carried as a thrasher, just to see how much abuse it could take as an everyday carry, and it lasted about 4 years, and that was hard use. And I'll get to why it wore out in a second. But I use this particular one. I carry it out in the field, and I use it around the house or at the house when I'm doing leather crafting projects. I use the awl, and I make things like this archery cuff, and you can see the stitching on here, like right there. I use the awl, and I'll make a row of holes, and then I just use a $3 sewing needle kit that I get from Walmart, and I'll use artificial sinew, or I've used dental floss, or even the inner strands of paracord, wax, nylon string, whatever, to sew it up. And I've been making some pouches and stuff, so I use the awl a lot. I just sharpened it up this morning. It's got a bit of an edge right there that you can touch up. And I of course use the knife blades, in that too, for cutting pieces out. I use both the knife blades almost equally. I use this one because you can kind of go like this and really get in and do real fine things. I don't often use, on this particular one, I don't often use the screwdriver, either screwdrivers or the can openers or the bottle openers. I almost never use the bottle opener. But when I'm out in the field, I do use this can opener. And even in everyday applications, I have a Leatherman Wave that I use the can opener fairly often. I have taken really good care of this one, and these knives can, you don't have to treat them with kid gloves. They're pretty solidly made. They're stainless steel. They take and hold an edge really well. I just have to touch this one up. Now, the one that I used as an everyday carry, I carried for 4 years, and I'm a plumber. So I'm working in an industrial environment, and a lot of times I carry a Leatherman with me. I've carried different Leathermans, but like the Super Tinker has a pair of little pliers that doesn't cut it in my line of work. I need pliers that I can cut wire with and stuff. Now, when I carried these I carried both of these in conjunction. A lot of times I would use the screwdriver from this, and then the Phillips on this, and even the pliers, because sometimes I'd have a nut or a bolt that I'd have to hold with this side, like with a screwdriver slot, and then tighten with this when I was working around machinery. And I didn't want to go back to the truck, to get parts out of my toolbox. I could just pull these out, boom, and I'm done. So that was pretty good. I think though, on average, like even if you're working in an office, or I worked in a hardware store and I carried one of these, it worked really good. I took for like stocking shelves and stuff, I took the key ring off of the one I was carrying, and I used the nub sticking up here to split the tape on boxes. I mean, it was in and out of my pocket 20, 30, 40 times a day. Where I wore the last one out was I was using it for everything. Stripping wires to poking at sheetrock, carving, making shims for, you know, different things, doors and toilets and stuff like that. And I had to sharpen it every day, sometimes even 2 or 3 times a day. And I actually wore the edge down so much that the tip was starting to stick out above this. So then I had to grind the end down, and it drastically shortened the blade, but it was still usable. But what finally happened was and I don't know why, I tried cleaning it with different things, air hoses and stuff, but the actual breaking point was the hinge on the main knife blade gave out, to the point that I mean, it was almost impossible to open. So I finally pitched it. That one was a $10 knife. I got it at a gun show. It had been a display piece, so all the tools were almost in mint condition, but the sides, you know, the scales were all scratched up and stuff from people opening it and closing it. It was missing the tweezers and stuff. So pretty good investment. I got 4 years of hard use out of it. Now this one, and this goes for all of them on average, they're about $20. I've seen them for 18. I've seen them for up to around 23, maybe even 25. Regardless, though, it's well worth the investment. I mean, you'll get decades of use out of these. I know guys who've carried them on their keychain for, you know, over 10 years. This design has been around for quite a while, and I get endless use out of this. There are books, around whittling where the guy just uses one of these. I mean, all the pictures he's using, you know, either blade and stuff. So as a compact multi-tool that gives you several options, I love this. So this is one of my favorite go-to pieces of gear. If I lost it, I would immediately buy a new one. If I find one for cheap at like a second-hand store, I usually grab them up. So anyways, that's number one, the video number one, and these are in no particular order on these in the series. But yeah, Swiss Army Knife Tinker. If you don't have one and you've been thinking about it, grab yourself one. They're great little crafting and everyday carry multi-tools.